how do you find your own freedom? What does freedom mean to you? What are all those rules you have in your mind about what freedom is? When you know inside what is it that freedom is, then you know everything in your world. I'm going to tell you a story about a bird. And the bird had a friend, and this friend was together with this bird. And so let's give them names, Tommy and Sally. So Tommy and Sally were just looking at the cage, that they could just see this cage in front of them. They were like, whoa, I don't feel free right now. And they're looking at the cage. They're like, whoa, there's so much cage in here. So much cage. And the wires. And they studied it. And they know everything about this cage. And they want to get through it. How do they get through it? And if you're a person who's looking from the outside at this cage that they're looking at, and you can see them looking at this cage, and you are there and you're seeing them looking at this cage, and you tell them, just turn around, just turn and look at something else. Look at something else. Why? Because you're not surrounded by the cage. The cage is a start to another. That's there. The cage is here and the bird is here. So they're actually looking at a cage that's outside of themselves, and they think that they're stuck in the cage, and they don't really know their own reality. And their own reality, if they knew, and if they were looking from the third person perspective, they would see that they were actually outside of the cage, but they were looking at the cage, and they studied it, and they thought that that cage was everything they needed to get through. But sometimes we put obstacles in our own way, right? And so when you study this cage and you make it your best friend, and then you become so identified with it, it's like how we identify with our problems, and it's our cage, and we take it everywhere we go because we can't do without this cage. But if you just looked and focused someplace else, you would realize you didn't have anything to do with this cage.